Hello my friends and family. We're still trying to get this. I'm hoping this video works out right. I am so sorry for the one with the falafels. They did turn out amazing, and if this works, I am going to be able to do that one again one day, because I can freeze them and make them for other meals. I am actually going to be doing something fun on the Mediterranean side for a little bit. I have always been intrigued about the Mediterranean and that side of Europe, and so I decided to try to do a little fun type of thing. Number one, I will tell you, I have been doing a lot more Mediterranean with my diabetic husband. The only thing in low carbs that we will use right now is everything like bread sources, pasta, stuff like that. They're strictly low carb for him. However, for everything else, it has been Mediterranean. Y'all, he has had amazing blood sugar counts from 103 to 4 down to 98. So we're going to stick with this. It's working. And again, he has not been on medication for diabetes. Now, he has... which felt like, in some ways, it felt kind of like we defeated the purpose, but his tests came back different than what we expected, and so they're going to try medication on his heart right now, and it was part of using what's called a substitute version of Jardian. So I don't know right now if that's helping or not, but so far the Mediterranean food is actually working. I've been doing this all along anyways, before all of this other stuff medication came in, and we have very well kept his blood sugar way under 120. So I'm going to actually venture to say that Mediterranean lifestyle is amazing for a diabetic. Just keep your simple carbs, your pastas, your desserts, your breads, keep those low carb, and you should do amazing. Now, there are others like me who don't have these restrictions, and I've told you all that I'm going to work with both sides. And I have done quite a few videos for the low carb side, and I'm just now venturing into Mediterranean. With that, I decided to do something fun where, for me, I will say I will have bread every once in a while. Now, for the most part, when I'm making bread, I'm freezing it, and I will have my bread sources maybe once or twice a week. It may look like I'm doing this every day, but I'm not. I space out my simple carbs. That's the same thing with my desserts. I will space them out. So, within spacing things out, I might not even have a bread source for 2 weeks. So with me spacing them out, it keeps me maintained in my weight. But what I did want to try to do that I think would be amazing is kind of become a food connoisseur. Per se, traveling without spending airfare. I have been looking into a lot of foods of Europe in the Mediterranean. So what I decided to do was to take certain type of foods like falafels and make them and try it. And adding it, should I like it, I'm adding it into my Mediterranean life. Labneh, hummus, falafels, so many different types of Mediterranean foods I'm adding into my lifestyle. So I have been looking into two others. One is a dessert, another is a bread source, and when I make these, I'm freezing them. What I'm trying to also do is set myself up for winter, that when I want something, I could just go to my freezer, defrost it, and I have it for me right there. The same way I had done for my husband in his desserts and in his bread sources. So I am going to be making a video today on a particular type of bread from Turkey, Istanbul, and it's a well-known ring of a bread called Simit. It's amazing, actually. It is made with either sesame seed coating or with sunflower seed coating. It looked absolutely amazing to me, and what it boils down to is Simit is the bagel to New York City of the United States. Now, I will say, with the falafel recipe, I had tried it before, and the one thing I'm absolutely learning with Mediterranean, don't cut corners. When I tried to cut corners on making falafels, I'll be honest, I cheated and got a can of chickpeas. It did not work. It was pretty much awful. And I thought, Lord, I don't even like these things. I gave it another chance by doing it the appropriate way, the authentic way, and they were actually quite amazing. So I'm learning not to cut corners. The same thing when it comes to Simit. I'm not going to cut corners. I'm going to use this the authentic way. However, if you choose to want to make Simit, you can go and venture into using everything bagel seasoning as well. These are a form of a bread that's crunchy on the outside, but kind of soft. It's a dense bread in a way, just like a bagel, but it's also soft. So I am going to be making this video with Simit. Now, the reason I decided to become this, I've always really enjoyed it. Food has always been a passion for me, although sadly I did learn how to abuse it, but it became, I got bored with life, being the same venture. I mean, I live in the South, and so I became adapted to it, pretty much forgetting about the person who I am. I love food from all over the world, and I gave up on that passion, and I regretted it. So I'm going back to that. I want to learn. I want to taste new flavors. And now that I know how to work with my food the right way, I want to venture now into learning the foods I've always wanted to. For foods of the world, per se, especially the Mediterranean world. This has been a deep passion, and I am thoroughly enjoying what I'm eating. I'm thoroughly enjoying learning the different places and the foods that they make. So that's what I'm going to be doing for a little while. We're going to be traveling without traveling. Kind of strange. And if I find that I thoroughly enjoy these recipes, absolutely I will let you know, because what I make, we're also going to try. So today we're going to be working on a beautiful Simit, and we're going to see what this is like. Again, this is from Turkey, from Istanbul. So let's go in the kitchen and have some fun with the Mediterranean world. Okay, my family, so here is our bread mix that we're fixing to do, called Simit. Now I'm going to start with 1 cup each of water and heavy cream. You want this at between 110, 105 degrees. I mixed the two together. I need a ½ tablespoon of dry active yeast, or actually, excuse me, I need 2 tablespoons of dry active yeast and 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is going to make 10 Simit rings. Just to let you all know, I am actually doing half this recipe, because pretty much until my sesame seeds come through the mail that I ordered, I don't have enough to go for the full recipe. So I am going to give you the full recipe, however. So I've got 1 cup each of water and heavy cream, heated between 110 to 105 degrees. I've got 2 tablespoons of yeast, 2 tablespoons of sugar. I am going to mix this together, and I'm going to set this aside just for about 5 to 10 minutes to allow this to bloom. And I'm just going to mix this up right now. Okay, so get my edges down here, get all my yeast into my milk mixture, and I'm going to let this rest to bloom for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to cover it up, and once this blooms, we'll be right back. Okay, so our yeast mixture has bloomed, so we're going to start with our next step. We are going to be adding 1 medium egg. I am actually going to be using small. 1 teaspoon of salt, or no, excuse me, 2 teaspoons of salt. Yes, I will be writing this recipe, by the way, in the description for you all. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And 4 cups of bread flour. Now I choose bread flour because 1, it's more of a whole grain. 2, to me, bread flour works so much better with bread sources than any than all-purpose flour. So you can choose to do either one. You can use all-purpose if you don't have bread flour. So I need 4 cups of bread flour, but you know I'm doing half. So, and I want to just lightly, again, yeah, let me show you this, because this is a key to all success as far as bread sourcing goes. I have learned the hard way to keep from getting super dense bread. What I had learned, I'm going to dump this out and show you, is instead of packing, we all been known, we go in our packages, we'll do this to our bread or our flour, or we'll do this and then just kind of brush it off. But you're going to end up with way more flour than you absolutely need. The best thing for you to do, and it has worked for me beautifully, I've made the most tenderest, fluffiest challah breads and all the other types that I've ever made this way. So I will just lightly just flow that flour into my cup, and I will come back, scrape the top, and that is it. I am not therefore overpacking my cups with unnecessary flour. If I need more, I will add more, but this has been the key for me to some very beautiful, successful bread sources. So, and here's my mix. So now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to stir this together. I'm going to get it to incorporated enough to where I can work with it with my hands to start kneading this. And like I said, if I need to add more flour, I absolutely will. And it looks like I may have to, so, and that's okay. I'm going to start with just a couple teaspoons at a time, just until I can get this consistency the way I need to. It may require me, because like I said, I'm doing half this recipe, and so I'm learning from the folks basically from Turkey how to make this, because it doesn't get made here in the United States. So this is why it's fascinating to me. I am going to be making this from the United States here, and as if I went to Turkey and learned how to cook in their kitchens. And it could be too that I have quite a bit of humidity as our temps are starting to rise into the hundreds these days. So, which is not cool. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I'm just going to work this in now until I get a good pliable dough where I can knead it and get that beautiful texture. I don't want it sticky, so, and you could probably run into the same thing. So even if I have to, just start with a little flour at a time. Don't go crazy because you don't want this too dense. So just like I'm doing, just add a little at a time until you get that right consistency where the bread won't stick to you, and you can knead it very nicely like this and bring out the glutens in it. And we're going to knead this for just a little bit. I'm going to bring this to where I need it to be, where it's smooth and elasticity. And when I do, I will be back with you. Okay, so we brought our bread up to gluten. It bounces back when I touch it. So now I'm going to stick this in my bowl. And I'm going to cover this up and let this rest for about a half hour and double in size. Once this doubles in size, we'll start with our next process, which will be cutting and shaping. And this is where it starts getting really interesting. So once this rises in about a half hour, we will be back and I will take you to the next steps of this. Okay. So, while I'm waiting for my Simit bread dough to rise, I'm going to try to explain the next process. So, I don't have enough sesame seeds, but Simit has been known to have two types of toppings, sesame seeds and sunflower. I'm going to actually go with both of them and get the best of both worlds and try each one of them. But they use a unique process. When here in New York City, when we make our bagels, they actually will do a baking soda water bath. And so that would create this puffiness of our bagels. But in Turkey, they use a different type of water bath. And that would consist of a molasses and water. However, not just any type of molasses, not the molasses that we know of backstrap molasses. Theirs is consist of basically a grape molasses, or what this one is pomegranate. Now, yes, I was able to produce this here where I'm at. And now grapes would have been a little bit harder for me. I understand a lot of our food. I could have done an unsweetened grape juice, but I don't trust it to truly be unsweetened, plus it had preservatives. So what I opted to do, I had some of this left over, which is my pomegranate molasses. And what I ended up doing is having this for my orange salad that I had made the video for. So I'm going to do this, or use this one. Now it was super simple. Like I told you, when I used it, I had a certain size bottle. It was a smaller one. And all I did was, for about an hour or two, reduced it down to a thick molasses base. And that's what this is. So when making Simit, you can use either grape molasses or pomegranate. And I'm going to be using pomegranate. I'm going to be using a couple tablespoons of pomegranate molasses with water, and I am actually going to bathe my Simit rings in there, and then we're going to drench them in toasted sesame seeds or sunflower seeds. Now the toasting, I used just nothing but a plain frying pan, and on a medium low setting I toasted sesame seeds. toasting the sesame seeds is actually important because it adds that flavor boost into the bread that we're looking for. So I thought I'd go ahead and describe to you when you see these next steps while I'm making this. I figured I'd go ahead and explain to you what we're going to be water bathing this in. A lot of the things, this was, I'll be honest with you y'all, I found super amazing, and I mean really super amazing. I am finding that subscribers or visitors are coming onto this channel that are from the Mediterranean. Y'all, to me, that is extremely honorable. And when I prepare food from their country or from their area, I want to make them proud. We have been known, and most of y'all know here in America, we'll give it a good example, Mexican food. Really, we've changed the fact of Mexican food to the American twist. I have had the opportunity for authenticity, and I will tell you, it is far different than what we are served here in America. So just like that, I want to be able to make things as authentic as possible while I'm traveling into the areas of Mediterranean. And while these folks come, whether they subscribe or visit, I want them to know that, and you know, make them feel proud that I did this the right way. Is it going to be perfect? I don't know. All I can do is try. But I will say I will give it my all, because I am interested in the way that they eat. I am interested in their food, because these folks are so much healthier than we are. And as I work into being healthier, as I work into enjoying and being a food connoisseur the way I've always wanted to, I can't go visit the areas of Greece or Turkey or Italy. I would absolutely love to be able to get on a plane and just go, but I can't. So what I do is I get online and I'll go. And then I will search something that clicked, something that connected with me, and I will come into my kitchen and I will prepare it. And when I prepare it, I'll bring it to you and maybe take you on this journey with me. So this is actually going to be a food connoisseuring journey into the Mediterranean, while I'm accommodating both low carb and Mediterranean. I have done, like I said, many videos on low carb, and for the most part, everything that I do is low carb, except for what I'm doing today. And I have one more, which will be a dessert, because frankly, I have only one dessert in my freezer while hubby is actually taken care of. So I want to be able to accommodate that as well. And as I do, I'm going to present it to you. I have, trust me y'all, I have many recipes that I have been taking notes on this journey into Greece, Turkey, Italy, Jerusalem. I have many recipes. I want to try even Egypt. So, and as I do, I'm going to be presenting them to you, and 95% of them will accommodate both Mediterranean diabetic. It's low carb, it's beautiful food, it's something flavorful, and that's, I'm going to bring it to you. Just like falafel. Now, falafel, it blew my mind. I'm going to be frank and honest with you. It blew my mind because, number one, looking at it, I thought, oh wow, this thing is coated with an egg and flour and breadcrumb mixture. To my surprise, it absolutely was not. It just, holy smokes, this blew my mind. And I opted to leave the flour out in the recipe. But it was absolutely amazing how the crunchiness, that burst of flavor from the greens of cilantro and parsley and dill. Oh, y'all, it was really hard to describe, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then I dipped it with both, actually, hummus and tzatziki. I enjoy this food, and I am having fun bringing this to the homestead and sharing it with you. I hope, if anything, that you all enjoy this journey with me. And I will be sharing as much as I can. still having my tea time, my coffee time, kitchen time, and today I'm actually combining both as I learn more and more. So our bread is just about ready. We're getting ready to form our rings and go to the next level of this, and you will be absolutely amazed to see the difference between our American New York City bagels versus Istanbul's Turkey Simit. Okay, y'all, so I am going to go ahead and use the molasses bath, and we're going to mix this up because our bread is ready. So what I'm going to be doing is taking, now this is a little bit thinner. Their molasses is way, way thicker than we have here, but I've got this as thick as I can. So I've got 1 tablespoon. Oh, that's so beautiful. 1 tablespoon. I'm going to go just a little bit more of my pomegranate molasses. And I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of water with this. I'm going to go ahead and get my molasses out of my spoon here. And now I'm just going to mix this up really good. Oh, that was perfect. It worked out so beautifully. And it gives this unique flavor from what I've been understanding. I am actually intrigued. I really want to try this, y'all. So now my bath, my water bath, is ready for my Simit. Now I'm going to set this aside, and I will go through this process with you and show you how these are made. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up, and we will get our bread and we will start proceeding. Okay, so in the beginning I am going to lightly flour my working station. I'm going to be pulling my risen dough out. Kind of bring this down here a little bit, and I'm going to cut this into 5 pieces. All right. Now on each one of these I'm also going to well, now I can choose to cut them in half, and I will show you. You can do this 2 ways. Now for the first time I'm actually going to do it the original way that this one came out. So I'm going to take my 1 piece, and I'm going to actually roll this out to about 36 inches long, which is about the whole diameter of my table here. So I'm just going to roll this out. And I will probably opt for number 2 because it'll probably be a lot easier for me. "36 inches is a long way to roll, and I actually need to move some of this out of my way. Give it something to grip onto a little bit. Almost there, y'all. Almost there. Okay, so now what I do is I'll take these ends and I'll fold them in half. And I'm wanting to twist. We're wanting to make a twist all the way through this. I'm going to pinch my end right there. And then I'm going to make a circle ring, just like so. And I'm going to take that center, I'm going to roll it to infuse it together. Set that here. The other way, which I'm going to try, I think would be a lot easier, is take each section, put it in two, roll it out. That's kind of thin on both sides. Oh yeah, this is a lot easier now. There's one. Put the two together and then just twist all the way through, just like so, making kind of like a half braid, more or less. Another way you can actually do is this right here as well, and just braid it, bring it together, pinch your ends, and then form where they seal together. And then you have your braid. These are amazing. They're absolutely beautiful, y'all. So again, I'm just going to opt to do that because I think that works out a lot better. Two pieces. I'm going to roll these out. Once I get these rolled out, I will show you what the next step is. Okay, so we have these all now ready and in their rings. Y'all, this was actually kind of strange. I have never done this, but this came out almost as if it was natural. So I'm just going to stretch this just a tad bit. I'm going to soak this just ever so gently into my pomegranate water mix or my molasses. Then I'm going to bring them to my sesame seeds, and we're just going to coat just like this on both sides. I want to make sure that I have a good coating on both sides of these, and I'm going to use as much of the sesame seeds as I possibly can. Once I got a good coating on this, we'll bring this to my baking pan and I will just put them up here, and that is ready now for baking. I'm going to go ahead and keep on. I may only be able to, whoa, that one didn't, hold on, that one didn't want to stay with me, so I had to. That was the first one I did. They all came natural after the fact, but there is definitely an art to these. Just taking, dipping that. I might just get one more out of what's left of my sesame seeds. At least I'll be able to taste both the sesame and the sunflower seeds. And I will do the sunflower seeds basically the same way as these. I just want to make sure that this is completely coated. I'm going to use up all of what's left of these sesame seeds to make sure this is coated, because you want a good coating on these. I got some right here. I am now super excited. I cannot wait for my sesame seeds to come in tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and put that out here. And now I'm going to bring over the sunflower seeds. So with the same aspect as I did with the sesame, I'm going to go ahead and use the sunflowers. Coat these really, really well. Make sure they're completely coated. Put this on my baking pan. And I have 3 more to do, so I'm going to go ahead and finish with coating these, and then we will be right back. Okay, so now our Simit is completely covered. It has been coated. Now I'm going to take and cover these up and let these rest for about 15 minutes, and that will help them rise a little bit. In the meantime, I have my oven preheated and set for 400 degrees. So we're going to let these sit for 15 minutes, and then we're going to take these to the oven, and we're going to bring you right back as soon as we reach that process. And that will be our 15-minute timer. So we have rested 15 minutes and it has risen absolutely beautifully. So now these are going to go in the oven. Now I have been doing some research, and for the most part a lot of the recipes would say in Celsius. So it's between 400 to 450. I'm going to actually choose to do 425, and I am going to bake these until they are nice and golden brown. So we're going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to allow these to bake, and in the meantime I'm going to enjoy a beautiful cup, which I harvested yesterday basically, some lemongrass, and in my cup with lemongrass tea I have some honey from our apiary. Beautiful summer tea. So while that is baking, I'm going to enjoy my tea, and once this is done we will be right back. And just like fresh out of the bakery, y'all, our Simit. These, oh, they smell so good. Now, to give you a little bit of history about Simit, I'm going to set you up really quick because we are going to try this, and what I'm going to try this with is some herbed labneh. I will explain all this in just a minute. Okay, y'all, so Simit is like our bagels and lox. It is served in the streets and restaurants of Turkey for breakfast. Most generally, they will serve Simit with Nutella, or they will use cheese and olives, or maybe some tomatoes and make it into a bagel sandwich. So I thought these were absolutely amazing, and I kind of want to see, are we missing something? Because I have been, the more I study about the Mediterranean, the more my palate is tasting of the Mediterranean. I told my husband, living in the South and the foods that I've known so far in America, I kind of feel like from the flavors of this, we're missing something. And so far I've been correct. This is another one. Now this turned out amazing. It's got that crunch. Oh yes. So it's got that beautiful crunch that needs to be on the outside. It seems very soft on the inside, and these are served warm all the time in Turkey. So I don't have the Nutella, I kind of don't want it right now, and I really don't have the cheese and all. So I am going to use labneh, which is my strained yogurt. It's kind of like the yogurt of cream cheese. So I'm going to use that to spread on my Simit. I really hope you all enjoy this. So let's taste this, because these are hot, fresh out of the oven. So, oh, look at that flakiness. Oh, I got to show this to you. So we get that beautiful flakiness of that. Oh, right? Now I'm going to dip this in my labneh. Okay, y'all. So to describe this bread with you, oh, this is far different from our bagels. So it does have that beautiful crunch when you initially bite into this, and then it's got that soft, chewy texture with the sesame seeds. That sesame seed leaves a beautiful toasted flavoring throughout your mouth that is technically undescribable, a nutty, chewy bread that is phenomenal. Mix that, and I can taste that with Nutella, and I can literally taste that with a beautiful cheese, cream cheese, or the Lubnay, or any type of other cheese, a soft cheese. Yeah, y'all, I am absolutely not sorry I baked these. Now, I tried the ones with the sesame before the sunflower seeds, because although they will do both, the sesame seeds is pretty much the #1 item that goes on Simit. Now, knowing what the sunflower seeds taste like, I can absolutely see that working too. But I am definitely a big fan of the sesame seed. Would I make this again? Oh, heck yeah. I absolutely would. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will definitely put the ingredients or the recipe in the description box below. Let me know if you're enjoying these trips to the Mediterranean and learning about their food and testing them out and seeing if you actually like them as well as I do. So I will catch you until next time. Sincerely hope you enjoyed this. I hope I actually made the folks who may come to visit this channel from Turkey proud, because Lord have mercy, y'all, this food that they have, we are missing out on some really good stuff. So until next time, much love to each and every one of you from Parton's Heritage Homestead.